She was the golden child, untouchable, always right, always first. Then Thanksgiving came, and I finally spoke the truth. My family always treated me like a ghost, a quiet shadow to my sister's blinding spotlight. But one Thanksgiving, I finally found my voice, and what I said didn't just upset the dinner table. It blew apart 2 decades of carefully constructed family lies, leaving a silence so deafening, it was a scream. All my life, I was the quiet shadow to my sister Clara's blinding spotlight. Seriously, from the moment I could understand anything, she was special. I was 11 when I first noticed it. My sister Clara got a bigger slice of cake always. When I asked my mom, Eleanor, why, she just smiled, patted my head, and said, "Because she's special, honey." And that, right there, was the beginning. I was the background character, the footnote. Clara, she was the shining star, the miracle, the center of the universe. She's 33 now, with a sharp jawline, an even sharper tongue, and a fan club of relatives convinced she descended from the heavens. Me? My name's Alex. I'm 30, and for most of my life, I just played my role, kept my head down, and tried not to ruffle those perfectly feathered wings. But this year's Thanksgiving, man, it didn't go how anyone expected. Especially not Clara. And definitely not my mom, who had what I can only describe as a psychological eclipse right in the middle of dinner. Not even my dad, Robert, who sat there for 10 whole seconds before whispering something that almost made me laugh out loud. But before we get to the wine throwing, the tears, and the whispered accusations, let me tell you how we even got there. This wasn't just one bad dinner. This was years in the making. A slow, silent pressure building until it finally cracked wide open at the worst possible time. We grew up in a small Indiana town. You know, the kind where everyone knew your business, or at least they thought they did. My parents, Robert and Eleanor, were both teachers. Strict but fair, everyone said. But that only really applied if your name was Clara. Clara could do no wrong. Straight A's, ballet, honor societies, every single magnet-worthy accomplishment was hers. When she walked into a room, my parents practically stood at attention. She didn't just bring home report cards. She brought home prophecies. Clara is going places. Clara's going to be a doctor. Clara's going to change the world. Meanwhile, if I brought home a B+ in algebra, I got the look and a reminder that I needed to try harder. Look, I wasn't a bad kid. I kept to myself, got decent grades, played guitar, worked at a bike shop, but I wasn't spectacular. Not in their eyes. And maybe that would have been fine if they just treated us equally. But they didn't. Not even close. I still remember one Christmas. Clara was 15, I was 12. She opened her gift, a brand new, sleek white MacBook. I opened mine, a stack of used books about learning to focus. My dad put his hand on my shoulder and said, "These will help you catch up to your sister." That was the year I stopped asking for anything. Fast forward to college. Clara went to Northwestern, full ride, pre-med, fancy internships, the whole package. I applied to a small state school with a good computer science program. Got in, no fanfare. When I told my parents I was majoring in computer engineering, my mom blinked and said, "Oh, but Clara's working in oncology. Isn't that exciting?" That was the beginning of my silent years. I stopped trying to impress them. I stopped sharing updates. Didn't tell them about my research assistantship or graduating with honors. Didn't tell them I moved to Seattle and landed my first 6-figure job. They didn't ask, and I didn't offer. Deep down, I already knew what they thought of me. But here's the thing.